Hey everyone, so I've been asked a couple of times on how do we receive our dispatch offers when we are on the board and waiting to be dispatched. So I thought I would talk a little bit about the Qualcomm that we have in our truck. This is with FedEx Custom Critical, and we have the MCP200 system. So almost every trucking company has some form of Qualcomm. This one tends to be the most popular that most trucking companies are using nowadays, and this is what we are running in our truck. So I thought I'd go over just a little bit on some of the features that this unit has and show you how we get offers. So with FedEx, you have two ways of being dispatched. The default way is through the Qualcomm, and the other way is through telephone. So my personal preference is the Qualcomm. The reason being is I'm a firm believer with FedEx or any trucking company, if it's not on the Qualcomm, if it's not in writing, it didn't happen. So I prefer to receive all offers and do everything over the C-Link. This is just another term for it, C-Link. That way it's in writing and I have proof of what was negotiated or agreed on or anything of that nature. Now I know some people who prefer to do telephone, and they hate the Qualcomm. They prefer to discuss everything over the telephone, and that's great. You know, it's just your personal preference. Myself, I prefer everything over the C-Link. So with this unit, as you can see on the main screen here, some of the things that you would look for is over here in the top. You know, this is just it's a touch display, so you have the home button, you have an onboard keyboard. These are your signal statuses. So this one runs off of cell towers or through the satellites in space, and then we also have Wi-Fi. So hopefully you can see those there. The cell tower is a 3G signal, and it shows your signal strength, and then the satellite shows your signal strength there, and then this is for Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi can be connected to anywhere that there's a free public Wi-Fi, or if you're at a truck stop and you have an account there, you know, Love's, TA, Petro, whatever, you can sign into your personal account there and browse the web. So some of the buttons on here is your messaging. This is where all of our messages come in. So whenever you receive a dispatch offer, communicating with dispatch, everything is done through the messaging app, and it's basically just like a text messaging. So when an offer comes in, it will show you all of your information, like the pro number, the run number, the pickup, the drop off, the times, the pay, if they're paying you anything for tolls. All of that information will come over on your load offer. The next one here is your hours of service, and this is your onboard log. We do have electronic logs, so that is where you would access that, and I can show you that one. So as you can see right now, it's showing me, it just shows that I'm in the sleeper, when I started, what time it is now, how long I've been in the sleeper, and it shows your last reset for your 34 hours. And if you have any hours to be gained back, and then it shows your mileage that you have driven in a particular day. So under the hours of service, you know, you have your summary, which shows you your 8-hour rest break, your 11-hour on-duty clock, your 14-hour, and your total 70-hour. So as of right now, I have 54 hours and 6 minutes left of the 70-hour work week. And then the other buttons are pretty much the same thing. It just shows you a breakdown of each one. You know, if you want to look at it in a graph form, your 1-day log, your last 8 days. The approve, this is simply once you are ready to send all your logs into FedEx and you want to approve everything. If all of your logs are great and you don't need to edit anything, you just simply hit approve all, hit yes, and it goes off to FedEx. The load button, this is just the last run So you put in your load ID when you start, you're in your bill of lading and all that information, and that actually goes on your log because that is a DOT requirement. The next button here is navigation. Pretty much it has built-in navigation, same as any other GPS out there. This one is fairly accurate. I mean, I would recommend having another GPS. We do have another one, so we use two at the same time. Sometimes you'll get different information from each one, but this one is fairly accurate. You have the ability to say where to, and you can search for addresses, you can search for truck stops and so forth. When you're dispatched on a load, all of your information is going to download in the messaging app. When all your information downloads, all your information required for that run, it will automatically put it into the navigation for you. So once you're dispatched, you can hit the dispatch button, and then that will show you your pickup, and that will show you your delivery. So whenever you're ready to go to pickup, you click on the pickup here. So you click there and you hit get route, and then that will route you to your next pickup. Whenever you get to there and you want to go to your delivery, you just click on delivery, hit get route, and that will take you to your delivery. And that is done every time you're dispatched. So it will automatically load all that information right into your navigation. So all you got to do is just click on it and go. Trailer management, that is if you are driving an 18-wheeler. So that is just for you to log your trailer number and so forth. We are in a straight truck, so we never have to worry about that. The login button, this is whenever we are switching drivers for team drivers. So as you can see right now, I'm the active driver. So whenever it's time for Don to start driving, we simply click his name, we hit the change button, he enters in. It'll ask you if you want to replace, you hit OK, you enter in your password, and then it will automatically switch over to him as being the active driver. Whoever the active driver is, that's how the electronic logs and so forth knows how to track who's driving. The next one is performance monitoring. So whenever the truck is running, you have the ability to come in here, you can see how long the engine has been running. It'll show you your distance, it'll show you your fuel, your miles per gallon, your idle speed. It'll show you all this information. Now, how accurate this is, I really couldn't tell you. I really don't go in here and look at anything. I've used it a couple of times to look at the miles per gallon, and that is kind of accurate. This one is showing 10.2 miles per gallon, and my truck is actually saying 9.8, so I would say it's fairly accurate. The next thing is scanning. Under scanning, we have a mobile scanner in the truck. So the scanner is called a dock port, and it plugs into the side right over here. I just pulled that little tab off, and we have the ability to scan paperwork into FedEx. Now, this can be anything from our run paperwork for the bill of ladings. After we finish a run, we just hook the scanner up, scan it right into the Qualcomm, we hit the send button, boom, we're done, we're paid. You could also scan in other information. So if you're stopped for a DOT inspection, you can send in your inspection paperwork to safety department. If you are sending in a, let's say you're doing a hazmat run, then you have the ability to send in your hazmat paperwork to FedEx before you do your departure call. That way the dispatcher is also looking at the same information you're looking at, and it just makes for an easier departure. You know, they see all the same information, they can catch any errors and so forth along the way. Anything that can be sent to FedEx can be scanned into here. So safety paperwork, white glove paperwork for white glove loads, anything that has to be sent in for review, your bill of ladings to get paid, all of that information should just be scanned right into the system and sent off to FedEx. And then of course your outbox, it just shows you your scans that you've sent, and the check mark just says that they have gone, and then any options which never have to use. Media manager is whenever FedEx has important announcements or whenever they want to discuss something with the entire fleet, they will send out a media manager. Now this can be one of two things. This can just be an audio format, which will talk about whatever they want to talk about for the entire fleet, or they can actually send out videos to us. So a few times a year, the CEO will get on here and do an overview video to everyone in the fleet, talking about statistics and where we're standing and stuff like that. All that can be sent through the media manager. If there's something that they need to talk about, like safety needs to talk about something, let's say there's been an important change to logs, or there's been an important change to how, you know, something in the trucking industry, safety can send that out via audio or video format. So it's just a really neat way for us to stay in contact with FedEx and for them to talk to the entire fleet and not have to do a email or something of that nature. It's more personable, I guess. So you hit this little arrow here and that'll take you to the second screen. This is where you can get your web browser. Like I was saying earlier, if you're on Wi-Fi, you can browse the web. Vehicle diagnostics, again, kind of like that performance monitoring, never use. There is a built-in alarm clock. This one right here, the DTTS, this is when you are on government shipments. So if you have a government clearance and you're able to do those types of loads, when you're dispatched on one of those loads, this will become available as an option to choose, and then you would actually go in there and that's how they track you. So with every run, you have to send in when you arrive at the shipper, when you depart the shipper. You know, if you're on a temperature load, you have to send in when you open your doors, when you close your doors, and all of this information. Well, if you're on a government load, there's additional tracking that has to be done through the government, and that will be done through this button right here. So again, this is only available when you're on one of those shipments and if you have that classification. And there are also some games built into this one, like Solitaire, Free Cell, Hearts, Spider Solitaire, Pinball, Minesweeper. You know, sometimes when you're bored, I have played these before. Sometimes it does freeze the Qualcomm, so use at your own risk. But it is kind of fun to mess around with every now and then. And then vehicle inspection. Vehicle inspection has to be completed on every single day, every 24 hours with FedEx. So basically what this is that means that you have inspected the vehicle, you have done your pre-trip, post-trip, whatnot. Every 24 hours, you have to go in and certify that there are no defects with your vehicle and that everything is A-OK. If there is a defect, then you will say no, specify what that defect is, and then there's additional paperwork that you have to fill out and send into safety. Again, that is required every 24 hours. When you start the Qualcomm, when you start up your truck, if you have not completed one within 24 hours, a message will pop up on here with a orange exclamation mark up here, and it will say vehicle inspection needed. And it's very simple to do so. You can go through that tab there, or you can do it under your hours of service. You simply click there, click vehicle inspection. If you're an 18-wheeler, you have a trailer inspection that you have to do as well. So you can see here, the last time I done a vehicle inspection was August the 2nd at 16:28 p.m. So you basically just select vehicle inspection. Are there any defects? If there is, you would choose what. If not, you say no, next, enter in your truck number and your ID, and that is all there is to it. So going back to messaging, I've got a lot of run information on here, so I can't show you a lot of information right now, but I can show you some of the pre-canned messages. So these are our pre-canned messages. These are things that are already typed out, most common messages that you send back and forth to dispatch. And this is under messaging and then under compose. So I won't go through all of these, but some of the ones that we use most often, Freeform goes directly to dispatch, and it is for surface loads. So when you want to just type out a message and you're on a surface load, and what I mean by surface is I mean general freight, then that would be under Freeform. The dispatch accept, this one is used when you are pre-dispatched. So let's say you're on a run, you get an offer, you accept it, and you receive that offer. That means you're pre-dispatched. So after you complete that run that you're on, you're going to get a message saying, please send your O1, and that just means to send that one right there saying that you are ready for the next run, and it will automatically download all that information for you. The next one we used a lot is pickup arrival. So every time that you arrive at the pickup and you're want to notify dispatch that you're there, you simply click on pickup arrival. If you leave all the information blank, it will fill it out automatically for you with the current time. Hit send. It'll ask you, are you sure? You hit yes, good to go. I've just arrived at the gate is used for when you arrive at your delivery or pickup and you're not ready. So let's say we are scheduled to deliver at 8 a.m. We get there early at 3 a.m. I'm going to say I've just arrived at the gate, so that way dispatch knows I am sitting at the gate for the receiver. I'm not ready to offload yet. I'm there and I'm just waiting for my delivery time or whenever they open up. Another one we use often is late response. So if you're on a shipment and you receive bad weather, if you have to stop for any reason, if you're stuck in traffic for hours, like driving up on the East Coast around Baltimore and DC and so forth, you would put late response, and it would ask you to fill out in detail of what's going on, and that goes off to your dispatcher and lets them know that, hey, for whatever reason you don't think you're going to make your required delivery time, this is the reason why, and then they can work with you from there. If it's something like traffic or weather, that is something that, you know, dispatch can work with the customer and they can notify them, hey, they've hit very heavy traffic or there's been a backup for the last 4 hours, so they can push out that delivery time or whatever they need to do. Delivery arrival is whenever you have arrived at your delivery and you are ready to offload, so you would hit that. That would let dispatch know that you're there and you're ready to unload. Proof of delivery is where you actually put in who signed for the freight. Express Center check-in. So FedEx operates on express centers, and what I mean by an express center is cities. When you deliver, you go to wherever you want to go. You can go home, you can go to the nearest city, you can stay where you're at, you can go wherever you want. You're independent contractors, so if there's some place that FedEx really needs you, they will offer you a place to go to and they will pay you an X amount of money to go to that place. Usually it's not enough for you to go, so it's totally up to you if you do. So for example, let's say I deliver in New Orleans, Louisiana, then if they absolutely need trucks, let's say in Memphis, Tennessee, it may pop up and say relocation offer Memphis, Tennessee. So you can choose to take that and go to Memphis and they will pay you X amount of dollars to drive up there, or you can say, no, I'm going to stay right where I'm at in New Orleans. And so if you choose to stay in New Orleans, then you would go to your Express Center check-in, you would type in the city of where you're at, and if you're available or not available on the C-Link, and you're checked in. Once you're checked in, that just means that you're on the board, you're ready for your next dispatch, and you're waiting for a load offer, either C-Link or via telephone. Status check is to check the available status. So it will show you where you're checked in, what time you checked in, and how many vehicles are in the area. So with FedEx, we have different class vehicles ranging from a cargo van all the way up to an 18-wheeler, and so it will show you how many of each vehicle is in that location. Now again, status check will only show you your current status. So if you're checking the status of New Orleans and you're checked into New Orleans, it will show you who was there in New Orleans. But if you want to see how many trucks is in Memphis, Tennessee, then you actually have to call into FedEx over the voice response unit and go through all the options to get to Memphis to find out how many trucks are there. So another one we use often is the Express Center checkout. So let's say that you're in New Orleans, you've sat there for 2 days, you've not received anything. Okay, you've had enough of this, you're going to go ahead and drive on up to Memphis. Keep in mind, at this point, you would not get any pay to drive to Memphis because you declined their offer in the first place to go to Memphis. So now you've decided, okay, I'm about to bullet and go on to Memphis. You would Express Center checkout. That just lets them know that, hey, I'm leaving this area. And under the Express Center checkout, there is an option to put where you are heading, so that way they have a general idea. And that is also good because if there's something along the way, they can actually say, okay, well, you're leaving here. I know I've got a run that's coming up in this city along the way before you get to Memphis, and they may send out an offer to you saying, hey, can you pick up here? The 16 and 17, I am not available, and I am available. This is where if you are sitting at someplace, truck stop, let's say again you're in New Orleans, and you are available on the C-Link, but you're going to go inside and take a shower and you don't want to miss any offers. You can say, I am not available on C-Link, and that will automatically switch you over to the phone. And then any offers that come in, or if dispatch needs to contact you, they're going to call you on your phone. When you get back in the truck, for whatever reason you were out of, when you get back, you simply go back and say, I am available for dispatch on the C-Link, and that will switch you back over to the C-Link. White glove freeform is just what that says. It's sending a white glove message freeform that you can type out directly to white glove. So the other ones you will use every now and then, but not that often. One other one, this one, number 33, the load opportunity response. That one is what you will send every time you get an offer. So either you accept or decline. And pickup departure, this one is when you are on certain shipments, if it's not a special category. So for example, if it's high security, or if it is a temperature validated load, a lot of those you cannot dispatch over the C-Link. Meaning after you pick up, you cannot do your departure call. So you actually have to call into FedEx, give them all the required information they need, and do everything over the phone. If you're on a general freight load, surface freight, or if you're on a regular temperature load, not validated, then you have the option of doing your departure over the C-Link. It cuts down on waiting time, having to wait for a dispatcher to get on the phone, having to call in, and so forth. It's very, very quick and easy. So you simply go in here, you click that, you put in all the required information that you need for that load. Once you're done, you hit send. Whenever that goes off to FedEx, then you'll get a message back and it'll say you've completed your departure, you're free to go. So it just really cuts down on the waiting time of getting a dispatcher on the phone, and especially during peak times, there's been times I've waited on hold for 15-20 minutes just waiting to leave the shipper. So that is really nice. And then the last important thing that you use is the door open and close. This is on temperature loads. So whenever you open your doors and whenever you close your doors, that way FedEx knows that, hey, they have opened the doors at this time. They know how long it takes based on the outside temperature, on how long it should take you to get back into range, and so forth. So that's a quick rundown on how we get messages and how we get dispatch offers from FedEx. Everything is done over this unit. One other thing that we do have the ability is it does have a pop-up keyboard. So if you don't want to type on the on-screen keyboard, then you do have a physical keyboard here that pops up. And then there's some physical buttons over here. So you have your home button over here. If you're driving, you have the ability to hit this button. Let's say an offer comes in, then you can tap that button right there and it will read you out loud the information. So it will read you the pickup, the delivery, your pay, the deadhead, all that information, and then you can decide whether or not you want to take it. I've used this before, but it's very inconvenient if you ask me, because it will read line by line everything. And when you get a dispatch offer, there's a lot of information on there, and it will just keep reading and reading, and it's tedious. Directional buttons just to navigate the screen. Back arrow, which you use the most. To create a new message is this button, your volume up and down, and then this one right here actually just dims the display or brightens the display for whenever you're driving at night and so forth. So that's pretty much a quick video of our Qualcomm system and the truck for FedEx Custom Critical, and how we get our dispatch offers and how we speak with dispatch and everything that needs to be done on the truck. So if you have any questions or comments or anything like that, please leave them below. Be happy to answer them the best I can. And thanks for watching and subscribing, and we'll see you in the next video.